At this moment, in the Chu family, Chu Chao Shi hurriedly ran to her son's room, her face full of excitement. She called out loudly, filled with enthusiasm, "Little Xiao, is it already dark outside and you're going to sleep? Something big has happened." Chu Tian Xiao yawned, slowly sat up, still blinking in confusion. "Ma, I haven't had enough sleep yet. What big thing is it?" Chu Chao Shi rushed to the bedside, holding his face, her eyes sparkling. 7.9 billion. It's 7.9 billion. I heard Liu Ling say that including the orders from the trading houses, this time you can make at least 7.9 billion. Can you hear me? Wake up. Chu Tian Xiao gently pulled his mother's hands away, his tone somewhat irritated. "Mom, can we not pretend to be that excited? 7.9 billion is indeed a lot, but don't tell me you've never seen that amount of money. Moreover, this is the first time the ancient incense burner has been activated. We might not pay attention to embryos, but from now on." Before he could finish his sentence, Chu Chao Shi interrupted, her voice filled with pride. "I don't care, I don't care. This is the first time little Xiao has earned money by himself." Chu Chao Shi laughed heartily, her eyes sparkling. Little Xiao has been hiding for more than 10 years, but this talent and brilliance can no longer be concealed. I told you long ago, how could our little Xiao always be ordinary like everyone else? Chu Tian Xiao smiled helplessly. All right, I get it. Mother has the best eye for talent. Is that enough? No. Chu Chao Shi shook her head, determined. No, you must quickly write a letter to your father, telling him to find more distinguished young ladies for you in the capital. Before everyone looked down on our little Xiao, let's see how they compete now like black-eyed chickens. Chu Tian Xiao looked at his mother's expression and sighed. Oh, I must have cultivated for several lifetimes to have such a precious mother. At this moment, the system in his mind detected that the usable wasteland of Qin Yun is less than 1 acre. The initial stage has successfully suppressed. Congratulations to the host for receiving the following rewards for the next stage. 1. 500 exchange points. 2. 1 opportunity to draw a golden reward. 3. Trusted subordinates will be promoted 2 small realms in Foundation stage within 3 days. Current spendable money is 5 million spirit coins. Chu Tian Xiao was somewhat taken aback, his eyes brightening. This side mission is really good. It can not only suppress Qin Yun, but also promote Liu Ling. Just then, the sky outside suddenly rumbled with thunder. Chu Tian Xiao looked out the window, deep in thought. It seems the change is coming. Thinking back, the Qin family has suffered such a crushing defeat this time. If the queen doesn't show up, it would really be like encountering a ghost. Knowing that this blade will eventually fall unavoidable, then let's confront it head-on. He glanced at the system panel and thought to himself, will I make it through tonight? It all depends on this golden exchange and lottery. System announcement, Lucky Stone, a magical stone that can bring good fortune. After use, it will increase the host's luck for 60 seconds. Can only be purchased and used once. Original price, 538 reward points. Current price, 500 reward points. If you want to exchange it, that's it. Exchange. He decisively pressed the change button and immediately began to spin the golden prize. Chu Tian Xiao shouted in his heart, Oh my! The god of wealth has exploded the jackpot. Indeed, luck has erupted. Prize. Red dust, 9 stars gathered together. This formation is divided into 2 parts. If measured by the level of the protective artifact, it must reach at least the Dao stage. Chu Tian Xiao closed his eyes, feeling the formation directly merge into his body, easy to understand and simple to use. It could already be used at the Foundation stage, truly as if it was designed specifically for him. He sighed a bit regretfully. It's just a pity that after using it once, my current realm is too low. I fear I can only unleash less than 1/10 of its power. If so, I must make up for it in other ways. Chu Tian Xiao then called out loudly, Liu Ling, come in here. Mu Liu Ling heard the voice and quickly opened the door to step in, young master. Liu Ling, prepare a bit. We have guests coming tonight. Mu Liu Ling was surprised, her brows furrowing. A guest? It's already getting late today, coming at this hour. I fear it can't be anything good. Chu Tian Xiao chuckled softly, his eyes deep. Very smart. It might just be a bit worse than some bad guests. But it's okay. As long as you help me prepare thoroughly, I will be safe. Mu Liu Ling's expression changed. Worried, she asked, Regarding lives, then, we should quickly report to old madam and the whole mansion. Chu Tian Xiao shook his head, raising his hand to stop her. No, there's no need to alarm my mother. I can handle this myself. Moreover, right now in the mansion, I'm the only one who can deal with it. Remember, don't let any mistakes slip out, or else the one in danger won't just be me. Mu Liu Ling felt cold sweat running down her, nodding. Liu Ling understands. If the young master has any orders, Liu Ling will get it done right away. Shu Ti and Xiao moved closer, leaning in to whisper, "Don't be too tense, everything is very simple. You just need to help me. And there's the intelligence, and just that, you remember everything, right?" Mu Liu Ling stammered, "Young master, are you sure?" But, her eyes reflected doubt and fear. "Why do I feel like you are not being cautious, but simply want to spend money?" Shu Tian Xiao raised his hand to signal silence, smiling. The more dangerous the situation, the calmer and more carefree you must be. Spending money is a secret that cannot be revealed. Just do as I say, sooner or later you will understand. Mu Liu Ling left to prepare according to his instructions, though she still felt anxious. At this moment, Shu Tian Xiao calmly sat drinking tea, gazing at the stars, waiting. It was close to midnight and no one had arrived yet. He felt a bit impatient, but still maintained his composure. Just then, a cold wind blew through, making the curtain flutter. Shu Tian Xiao paused his tea to greet Humph. "You have to speak of the devil before the devil itself will appear. Miss Qin, I have been waiting here for a long time. Please have a cup of tea." Qin Jiao Jiao held a sharp sword, her cold gaze fixed on him. "Do you know that I would come tonight? You also know that I came here to kill you." Shu Tian Xiao casually raised a cup of green tea and smiled. "Isn't it great to have a friend coming from afar? To be honest, there's no deep-seated hatred between me and Miss Qin. It's just a business battle, all for the interests of our families." Qin Jiao Jiao looked disgusted. "You are not wrong, but unfortunately, you shouldn't have harmed Yunner to such an extent." Shu Tian Xiao only smiled lightly. That was his own doing. Qin Jiao Jiao bent down, her fingers caressing the shiny blade. "Perhaps so, but I only know that you have become Yunner's heart demon. If you do not die, he will not be at peace. This is Yunner's wish, and I must fulfill it for him." Shu Tian Xiao's eyes deepened as he lightly remarked, "Isn't the best way to break the heart demon to cut it off yourself? Do you want to kill me? That actually proves that you have lost faith in Qin Yun." Qin Jiao Jiao closed her eyes in thought. She did not expect that a prodigal son looked down upon by the world could see through everything so profoundly. But then she coldly said, "It's a pity. At present, I do not wish to disturb the Zai Marcus, so I can only destroy the body and will not leave your body intact." Shu Tian Xiao chuckled lightly, placing the teacup on the table. "In fact, I am really curious. Where you get the confidence to feel that you can definitely kill me? You should know that once a powerful expert or someone carrying a treasure enters the Zai Marquis mansion, the restrictions left by my father will immediately activate. The fact that you were able to come here without a scratch proves that you, at the very least, are not too strong." Qin Jiao Jiao's eyes flashed with cunning. "Well, since I cared to come, would I not know about the restrictions of Zai Marquis mansion? For this reason, I have specially used a secret method to temporarily lower my cultivation to the lower realm of transcendent stage. This way, I can kill you silently without alerting the restrictions." Shu Tian Xiao nodded, indicating that he understood. So that was it. He never expected Miss Qin to go through so much trouble just to kill him. Indeed, he was surprised that Miss Qin would be so troubled just to take his life. "But look, the food and drinks are already prepared. Aren't you planning to have a few drinks with me before you kill me?" "Humph, are you trying to buy time, waiting for someone to come to your rescue?" Qin Jiao Jiao pointed her sharp sword at Shu Tian Xiao, her voice cold as ice, threatening him. "Don't waste your effort. This place has already been sealed by me. Who can hear your cries for help? Do you really think I would waste another word on you? You really dare to do this?" Shu Tian Xiao glanced at the sharp blade in front of him, cold sweat trickling down his forehead. However, before he could finish speaking, Qin Jiao Jiao suddenly thrust her sword straight into his chest, her gaze icy. "Slowly begin to repent in the world beyond." Shu Tian Xiao's mouth bulged, but he still wore a mysterious smile. Qin Jiao Jiao felt an unsettling premonition rise in her heart, frowning as she asked, What? What are you laughing at?" At this moment, the surrounding space suddenly transformed, the scenery becoming hazy like another illusion. Qin Jiao Jiao's complexion changed as she clearly sensed the distortion of the space around her, her mind becoming unsettled. "This is an illusion," she exclaimed. Shu Tian Xiao gently said, his tone calm, "My queen, welcome to my 3,000 volumes of red dust." At that moment, in the matrix space, a crowded street appeared before Qin Jiao Jiao, accompanied by familiar selling calls. "Hot and delicious buns here. Freshly baked buns. We have freshly slaughtered pork today. Everyone come get some." Qin Jiao Jiao looked at the scene before her in amazement, her mind full of thoughts. 3,000 volumes of red dust. I didn't expect that prodigal son to understand this mysterious formation. Just mere worldly smoke and fire, you think you can trap me? You are too naive. She secretly chuckled, initiated some incantation, and a large talisman appeared in the sky. 3,000 fireworks are not real enough. There are traces to be found in a broken red dust. Found it. Qin Jiao Jiao calculated. As long as I follow his trail in sequence, I can break this formation. If I am fast enough, I can catch up with him in no more than 100 breaths. In another place, Chu Tian Xiao was standing high above, quietly observing the ethereal space in 3,000 volumes of red dust. He slowly spoke. In this world of 3,000 volumes, those who understand can travel 100 miles in an instant, while those who don't can hardly take an inch. As expected of her, she found a solution so quickly. Mu Lu Ling stood beside him, worriedly saying, "Young master, at her speed, she will soon catch up with us. What should we do now?" Chu Tian Xiao calmly smiled and replied, "With her speed, subtracting the speed at which we are fleeing, I hope it will be more than 200 breaths. This is a good problem. Lu Ling definitely can't refuse it, right?" Mu Lu Ling looked a bit flustered, her lack of confidence clear on her face. But young master, what if Lu Ling calculated wrongly? Chu Tian Xiao gently patted Lu Ling's shoulder to reassure her. "If so, then we can only die together. But I trust you, Lu Ling. You can do it." Hearing this, Mu Lu Ling made up her mind, unleashing her aura with a determined gaze. "If the young master trusts me, Lu Ling will never let you down. Next, we will head to the east of the city quickly now." Mu Lu Ling then pulled Chu Tian Xiao into the passage, and the two quickly disappeared. Moments later, Qin Jiao Jiao followed the traces left behind. She sat down, picked up an unusual stone, and observed intently. Everywhere Chu Tian Xiao has passed leaves behind a stone. Perhaps this is a long-term strategy. Be cautious, I will collect them all. Meanwhile, Chu Tian Xiao and Mu Lu Ling were moving from place to place at an extremely fast speed. Young Master to the west of the city, Qijin Ji. Young Master to the north of the city, Wanhua Tower. Mu Lu Ling reported anxiously. Finally, the two stopped at a cliff. Mu Lu Ling was panting. "Young Master, Lu Ling has done her best." Chu Tian Xiao smiled gently. "Having endured 300 breaths, very well done. Now, just leave it to me." Mu Lu Ling worriedly advised. "Young master, please be careful with everything. The outside must be fully prepared. Lu Ling will return immediately to assist the young master." After finishing his words, Lu Ling entered the corridor and disappeared. At that moment, Qin Jiao Jiao had also arrived. She looked around and sensed the transformation in space. This must be the boundary between illusion and reality. In the end, you still can't escape my grasp. Chu Tian Xiao stood there, clapping his hands and laughing disdainfully. "Oh, really? If the queen has arrived, why not come out and greet her?" Suddenly, a circle of the killing formation appeared beneath Qin Jiao Jiao's feet, surrounded by many illusory cultivators. "This is an illusion-killing array," Qin Jiao Jiao thought. "These cultivators, the strongest are only at the lower level of Mingyuan stage, and the weakest are at the 7th level of Foundation stage. He is only at the 4th level of Foundation stage, yet he can manipulate the formation like this." Qin Jiao Jiao sneered. "I can expect that while being hunted by me, you still have time to set up a formation. Tian Xiao, it seems you haven't died, and Yunner will find it hard to raise her head." Chu Tian Xiao then raised his hand, quietly activating the killing array. The illusory cultivators immediately rushed forward. But Qin Jiao Jiao was not shaken at all. Her eyes were filled with murderous intent as she coldly snorted. "Do you really think you can stop me with just you lot?" Immediately, Qin Jiao Jiao executed the golden snake dance, her figure graceful, as she effortlessly glided through the group of cultivators and defeated them with a single move. The remaining cultivators were left in astonishment. Before they could react, Qin Jiao Jiao had already used Phoenix Crying to Ninth Heaven, combining it with her perfect aerial movement skill, and then dove down without hesitation. A series of wretched screams rang out once again as these illusory cultivators were eliminated by her in just 2 moves. Qin Jiao Jiao disdainfully said, "Humph, Chu Tian Xiao, is this really your trump card?" Chu Tian Xiao laughed loudly, clapping his hands in appreciation. "Impressive, truly impressive. I thought at least you would be able to hold me off for 10 breaths, but it turns out it was as easy as cutting through melon." Qin Jiao Jiao did not respond, her gaze icy as she swung her sword and charged forward. "Stop the nonsense. Hand over your life." Chu Tian Xiao chuckled lightly. "Unfortunately, that is not my trump card." As Qin Jiao Jiao swung her sword, suddenly an invisible wall appeared, blocking Chu Tian Xiao. Chu Tian Xiao laughed. "Ha ha! Before you can break through this barrier, I can still leisurely escape." Qin Jiao Jiao jumped back, sneering. "Want to run? There's no way." Saying that, she coldly bit her finger, letting blood activate the sword, then condensed the true fire of Samavi, slashing out at terrifying force. Break it for me. After colliding with the barrier, a deafening explosion rang out. The pressure caused the barrier to shatter instantly. Qin Jiao Jiao leaped forward with the sword. Now you have no trump card left. She thrust the sword straight through Chu Tianxiao's chest. Blood slowly trickled from the corner of his mouth, but he just grasped the blade, smiling smugly. Are you sure? Chu Tianxiao whispered, his body suddenly transforming into an illusion. Qin Jiao Jiao looked at the scene before her, frowning in doubt. You? What do you mean? Could it be? Before her eyes, the illusion of Chu Tianxiao suddenly transformed into Magner Q. Chu Tianxiao's voice echoed in the air. Qin Jiao Jiao, I told you, you cannot die peacefully. She was terrified, thinking to herself, Xu Ming, is this a trap? Bitch, I told you, you would regret it. Xu Ming shouted, his eyes blazing with hatred. Xu Ming, what are you doing? Before Qin Jiao Jiao could understand what was happening, a powerful voice echoed from behind, gathering stars, killing formation. With a commanding voice, the word open resonated as spatial gates appeared from the sky, gathering stars, killing array. Qin Jiao Jiao panicked, her face turning pale as she recognized the type of formation. The formation immediately summoned 3 portals ready to activate. Not wanting to waste any time, she quickly kicked Xu Ming and shouted, Get lost! Don't block me! Xu Ming screamed as he was kicked aside. Qin Jiao Jiao quickly gathered her strength and loudly chanted the spell Fire Dance in the Sky. The flame from her sword erupted fiercely, but despite her best efforts, she couldn't avoid sustaining minor injuries. She let out a soft groan, cold sweat trickling down, her face grimacing. In another part of the Zai Yi Marquis mansion, Mu Liu Ling was nervously instructing the servants to open 3 passages. Not enough. The power is still insufficient. Burn 2 more Qingyu. Mu Liu Ling commanded. The servants quickly brought the treasures. Mu Liu Ling continued to issue orders. Use the black crystal that is 100 years old and the 200-year-old one as well. Where's the 100-year-old Bai Ren Shen we bought earlier? Use it. The spirit crystals left by the master should also be burned. One servant eagerly spoke up, Manager Mu, we have already burned almost 3 million spirit coins. Isn't that enough? Mu Liu Ling frowned, her eyes filled with worry. Not enough. You must understand, each treasure I burn is a lethal weapon for the young master in this battle. Another servant quickly interjected, Manager Mu, the enemy's resistance is weakening. They may have been severely injured. Another servant added, once the spirit crystals left by the Marquis are all burned, the protective shield of the Zai Yi Marquis Manor will not be able to activate. That's right, the enemy has been severely wounded. The young master should no longer be in danger. Continuing to burn is indeed Everyone was startled and turned to look as Chu Chao Shi walked in. The servants were all terrified, their faces pale, stammering. Old Madame, Mu Liu Ling bowed his head apologetically and murmured, I'm sorry, young master. Old Madame already knows about it. Chu Chao Shi was furious. Let me tell you all, whoever hesitates today will be killed on the spot. The group of servants immediately complied, no longer daring to hesitate as before. We obey, Old Madam. Burn it, quickly. She turned to Mu Liu Ling, her gaze sharp. Mu Liu Ling, I do not blame you for helping my child hide this, but regarding the burning of the life-saving treasure for my child, did I not give you full authority over it? Mu Liu Ling nodded tremblingly. Yes, Old Madam. Then why did you hesitate just now? It has entrusted its life to you, and you must do everything to protect it. Chu Chao Shi said with authority. But what about you? Even knowing that it was necessary to continue burning, you hesitated just because of a few words from a servant. If anything happens to Xior, what is the purpose of the protective barriers and treasures in the Zai Yi Marquis mansion? Mu Liu Ling was filled with regret and thought to herself, that's right, the young master is in danger. What was I doing earlier? How terrible. She immediately knelt down and said earnestly, I'm sorry, old madam. Liu Ling realizes her mistake. Please punish me. Chu Chao Shi spoke with a stern but forgiving tone. This time I'll let you off. Quickly stand up and take charge. She choked up, gazing into the distance, tears streaming down her face, silently mourning. Mike Seor, facing such a powerful foe alone for the sake of the entire household, and here I am not by his side. Meanwhile, Qin Jiao Jiao was still struggling against the spell, her eyes burning with determination. This spell consumes 2 precious items. I want to see how long you can hold out. She sneered, contemptuous of the enemy before her. Chu Tianxiao smiled, his tone cold yet challenging. I may not have much talent, but I have a lot of money. What do you think about that? Instead of worrying about my finances, why don't you ask yourself how long you can endure? 30 minutes later, the light of the formation grew weaker. She leaned on her sword and looked around, seeing the formation gradually fading away. Qin Jiao Jiao laughed loudly, her voice filled with triumph. Ha ha! The light is getting weaker by the moment. It's a pity. I'm still not dead. Such a feeble formation cannot hold me any longer. Huff, Chu Tian Xiao, now that you are out of tricks, aren't you? Not daring to be arrogant anymore. Let me tell you, as long as I still breathe, killing you is as easy as killing a dog. She laughed coldly, her eyes flashing with contempt. Chu Tian Xiao calmly retorted, smirking. I see you really enjoy bragging. You've said those lines countless times, but have you ever succeeded? You are now covered in wounds, yet you still think you can kill me? Why is that? Qin Jiao Jiao hesitated for a moment, her eyes revealing a hint of caution. Seeing his expression, she wondered, could he still have some trick left? No, impossible. He is clearly pretending to scare me. She scoffed. Humph, is your so-called ultimate move really to use these stones to set up a formation? Don't dream. These stones have all been marked with my mental seal. You can't use them. Chu Tian Xiao pretended to panic. Oh no, you caught me. I must run quickly. Saying this, he turned and dashed straight into the escape tunnel. The red dust scroll has been completely destroyed. Don't think you can escape just by running outside. Qin Jiao Jiao gritted her teeth and chased closely after him. As soon as she exited the formation, she arrogantly pointed her sword at Chu Tian Xiao, threatening, You think it's safe to come back? Have you forgotten that this room has been under my control? Let me tell you, I can still kill you right now, destroy your body, and leave without a trace. Suddenly, Qin Jiao Jiao felt all of her strength drain away, her whole body trembling. The sword in her hand fell to the ground, and then she collapsed. What's happening? My body suddenly has no strength. Have I been poisoned? What kind of poison is this? When did I get hit? Could it be from those stones? Chu Tian Xiao slowly walked over and sat down in a chair, his expression calm. That's right, you've been poisoned, but not from those stones. It was from this flower pot. He raised his hand to point at the flower pot next to him and gently explained, This flower is called Wu Yu. It blooms yellow at 11 o'clock and turns red at 12 o'clock. The fragrance also changes with the color. Both types of fragrance are harmless, but if you smell both within 2 hours, it will be like you are now. Qin Jiao Jiao was horrified, her face changing color as she murmured, Flowers? Yes, when I first arrived, the flowers were clearly yellow, and then they turned red. She tried to remember, her eyes flashing with doubt. Both of my cultivation, even the red dust scroll, I should have noticed this change in fragrance. Zhu Tian Xiao gently picked up the small stone in his hand, sneering. So what do you think these stones are for? Qin Jiao Jiao suddenly realized, exclaiming silently, They are just bait. You purposely used them to attract my attention, making me think that was the final move, so I wouldn't notice other things. You deliberately led me into the red dust scroll to buy time, but the focus was actually not on the formation. He smirked. That's right. His voice turned cold. Of course, using poison is to capture you alive. Qin Jiao Jiao felt a chill run through her body, struggling to stay calm, but her voice betrayed her trembling. It's come to this. What do you want? Chu Tian Xiao calmly stepped closer, gently lifting her chin, his eyes gleaming with ulterior motives. I'm thinking, should I sleep with you a little and split the luck of the main consort? Qin Jiao Jiao was taken aback, her face flushed with anger and fear. What? You dare? Immediately, Chu Chao Shi and Mu Liu Ling rushed in from outside. Chu Chao Shi cheerfully said, Little Xiao, are you okay? I was scared to death. You couldn't even say a word to me. Chu Tian Xiao smiled, his gaze gentle yet confident. Ma, I'm fine. He then turned to Mu Liu Ling and commanded, Liu Ling, use the immortal binding rope to tie her up for precaution. Mu Liu Ling respectfully bowed and replied, Yes, young master. She quickly moved to tightly bind Qin Jiao Jiao, leaving her no chance to resist. Chu Chao Shi, with a face full of anger and worry, kept expressing her displeasure. You dared to assassinate my son. Why don't you just kill her right now? Chu Tian Xiao chuckled lightly, calmly persuading her, gently pushing his mother outside. Mom, don't worry anymore. Keeping this person alive is still useful. You go rest first. Chu Chao Shi seemed uneasy, but still tried to suppress her worry, nodding agreement before leaving. She could not forget to remind him. All right then, little Xiao, be careful on your own. Remember to let me know when you're done. Once Chu Chao Shi had left, Qin Jiao Jiao looked at Chu Tian Xiao and Mu Liu Ling with fear and anger in her eyes. She couldn't help but feel anxious about what was to come and instinctively shouted, What are you planning to do to me? Qin Jiao Jiao was filled with dread when she thought about her current situation. That damned prodigal son, does he really intend to do something vile to me? Chu Tianxiao looked at her, his gaze sharp as if piercing into her soul. What's wrong? Miss Qin, are you finally starting to feel scared? Qin Jiao Jiao lifted her head, defiantly responding, despite the anxiety within. I am the temporary head of the Qin family. According to the laws of the Qin family, we have the right to redeem myself. This is a hard and fast rule of the divine Marquis family. Chu Tianxiao did not show any surprise, just chuckled lightly and turned to Mu Liu Ling to ask, Ransom? Liu Ling, tell her how much it cost to catch her tonight. Mu Liu Ling quickly responded, her tone steady and precise. From the activation of the formation to the 9-star gathering array, it totaled 6 million spirit coins. Upon hearing that figure, Qin Jiao Jiao's expression changed immediately. She trembled and exclaimed, 6 million spirit coins, just to guard against and deal with me, and you were willing to spend 6 million spirit coins in an instant. Chu Tianxiao coldly mocked, Humph, that's just the cost. If you want to be ransomed, it has to be at least double. He smirked and continued, not to mention whether the Qin family can afford it or not, the rules for ransom do not include assassins. Qin Jiao Jiao desperately tried to remain calm, but could not hide her anxiety. What do you really want? Chu Tianxiao stepped closer to her, his gaze sharp but his voice gentle as if mocking. Don't be tense. I've already said it. I want to sleep with you. Hearing this, Qin Jiao Jiao immediately shouted, her eyes wide with indignation. You must be dreaming. Either kill me or let me go. Chu Tianxiao maintained a calm demeanor, his expression unchanged. Kill you. I'm not interested. As for letting you go, that is only if you agree to my terms. Qin Jiao Jiao's emotions were in turmoil. She gritted her teeth and asked, what terms? Chu Tianxiao lifted the Xumi ring and her sword, speaking in a calm yet decisive tone. First, the Xumi ring and your sword will belong to me. No matter how much the Qin family pays to redeem you, I will not return these items. Now erase your spiritual mark from them completely. Despite her resentment, Qin Jiao Jiao had to compromise. Without hesitation, she nodded in agreement. Fine, I agree. Chu Tianxiao was pleased. He handed the sword to Mu Liu Ling. Liu Ling, this sword is yours. Mu Liu Ling bowed her head in gratitude. Thank you, Master. Chu Tianxiao picked up the Xumi ring, checked it carefully, then frowned. Not bad. At least there are things inside worth 3 million spirit coins. Suddenly, Tianxiao was taken aback, his gaze full of suspicion. Wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Clearly, she belongs to the fire system, but the Xumi ring contains only attribute-less items. She couldn't have predicted her defeat, so there's no reason for her to change beforehand. Chu Tianxiao pondered deeply and muttered, I've long heard that she is not from the Qin family, and that she has a mysterious background. In this world, it seems only such a background would make her cautious enough to deliberately conceal even the Xumi ring. The ability to rapidly increase cultivation from foundation stage to transcendent stage in a short time to eliminate witnesses is also a familiar trick of theirs. Seeing the young master deep in thought, Mu Liu Ling anxiously asked, Young master, is there a problem with this ring? Chu Tianxiao smiled mockingly. Oh, it's nothing. Just poorer than I expected. Inside, Qin Jiao Jiao was furious, thinking, this bastard. Chu Tianxiao chuckled to himself. He decided not to inquire about her background for now. At that moment, he said, I won't pursue her background for the time being. Instead of cutting off the relationship immediately, I will take my time. He moved closer to Qin Jiao Jiao, raising 2 fingers with a dangerous smile. The second condition, a drop of your blood essence. Hearing this, Qin Jiao Jiao couldn't help but shout in anger. You're dreaming. Chu Tianxiao only smirked, moving closer to her, lightly touching her shoulder, his eyes full of provocation. The feeling of being a queen is really not bad, huh? Qin Jiao Jiao was startled, fear surging within her. She gritted her teeth, trying to calm herself, and said, You stop right there. I can agree to you, but you have to tell me, what do you need the blood essence for? Chu Tianxiao responded sarcastically. A prodigal son like me, staying up all night to play with you for so long, can't you get the first drop of your blood essence? If this gets out, how can I do any business? A foundation stage defeating a transcendent stage, how could there not be a memory? Qin Jiao Jiao, with a flushed face, slightly lowered her head, her voice soft. I can give it to you. In her heart, she thought, if he's just doing this for show and doesn't know the true value, it's no big deal to give it to him. She carefully used her fingertip to extract a drop of blood, which slowly dripped down. Chu Tianxiao quickly took out a glass vial, capturing the drop of blood essence, his eyes lighting up as if he had found a treasure. System, how many treasures have you appraised? Help me analyze this drop of blood essence. After the system analyzed it, he couldn't help but feel excited, whispering to himself, Just as I predicted, Qin Jiao Jiao's background is truly frightening. Tonight will not be a loss. This drop of blood essence will definitely have great significance in the future. His eyes shone with joy, but he quickly restrained himself, thinking, but that's a matter for after the autumn night banquet. For now, I will just pretend to be deaf and ignore it. At this moment, Qin Jiao Jiao could no longer contain her anxiety, her voice slightly trembling. Can you let me go now? Chu Tianxiao chuckled softly, a calculating smile on his face. He said slowly, each word seeming to carve deeply into her heart. There is one final condition. He slowly took out a piece of paper, looked directly into Jiao Jiao's eyes, and said, before the great autumn trial, you must not confront me or assist Qin Yun. Qin Jiao Jiao was surprised, her eyes wide open. Do you even have a blood contract? Chu Tianxiao laughed. Given your relationship with Qin Yun, I have to be cautious. This contract will ensure you don't do anything to harm me. After a moment of consideration, knowing she had no other choice, Qin Jiao Jiao accepted. All right, I agree, she thought to herself. After all, I am affected by the secret technique. It will take at least a few months to recover. I can't help it much anyway. Chu Tianxiao was satisfied, nodded, and said with a hint of threat, very good, the contract is signed. If you violate it, you will explode and die. He turned to Mu Liu Ling and ordered, Don Liu Ling, take Miss Qin down, keep her in the private room for a few days, and wait for the Qin family to discuss the ransom. Mu Liu Ling bowed and replied respectfully, yes, young master. Soon, Qin Jiao Jiao felt like she was falling into a deep trap with no way out. She trembled and asked, You aren't going to let me go now? Zhu Tianxiao furrowed her brow, her cold gaze sweeping over Qin Jiao Jiao. Hemph, Miss Qin, how can you be so naive? When did I say I would let you go? What do you want? The temporary position of the family head? She asked in a clipped tone, but couldn't hide her fear. Very clever. I heard that the eldest son of the Qin family, Qin Yang, has always enjoyed bullying Qin Yun since childhood. I think it's quite reasonable for him to take the temporary position of family head. To solidify his position, he will definitely put in a lot of effort. Qin Jiao Jiao huffed angrily. Do you think Qin Yang can stop Yunner from breaking through? You are the knave one. In 2 days at the autumn night banquet, Yunner will definitely take revenge for me. Zhu Tianxiao moved closer, her cold laughter ringing out. Huff. A pawn used as cannon fodder can achieve great deeds, but for small matters they might be useful. And are you certain that Qin Yun will seek revenge for you at the autumn night banquet? I heard he's quite possessive. Just because he comes under the moonlight doesn't mean he's here to kill. Maybe it's just a romantic meeting like in the plays, but having been trapped for so many days, who knows? Just return the result, no explanation needed, nothing else. Qin Jiao Jiao could no longer hold back. Chu Tianxiao, you shameless! She shouted, her whole body shaking with anger. Chu Tianxiao said nothing, only approached her, gently grasped her chin, his gaze cold. Miss Qin, although I keep myself pure and disdain the idea of sleeping with you, do not force me, because I have never shown mercy to my enemies, and it is not impossible for me to take your body. Mu Liu Ling stood beside them, offering a faint smile. Let's go, Miss Qin. Chu Tianxiao watched her silhouette leave and thought to himself, Humph, it seems I have frightened her right. At least it will be quiet for a few days. He murmured, his eyes revealing calculation. Although sleeping with her was indeed a quick method, relying on that might lead to his demise under a woman's control. He turned back, letting out a sigh of relief. Now that I have dealt with the queen, only the old man in the ring remains. He pondered he hasn't appeared tonight, so he must still be deeply asleep, accumulating strength. Then we will settle things at the upcoming autumn night banquet. At this moment, a servant hurriedly stepped forward and bowed to announce, Young master, 7th Prince, your highness has arrived. Shu Tianxiao nodded slightly, signaling the servant to invite your highness inside. Outside, Lu Tian Yuan, upon seeing the servant come out, sternly ordered the subordinates beside him. You all stay outside, no one is to approach. The subordinates bowed their heads in unison and replied, Yes, your highness. Lu Tian Yuan, the 7th Prince of Mingzhu, slowly entered, his demeanor relaxed, yet still carrying an imposing presence. Chu Tianxiao cupped his hands and bowed. Your highness, I pay my respects. Lu Tian Yuan's voice rang out robustly. The divine Marquis family of Mingzhu does not need to follow mundane rituals. Chu Gongzi need not be overly courteous. Chu Tianxiao smiled. Your highness, please come in. Then Chu Tianxiao respectfully invited Lu Tian Yuan inside, leading him to a private room for reception. Sitting down, Lu Tian Yuan squinted lightly. Regarding the previous matter at the Wasteland Guild, it was my oversight. I hope the Chu family can forgive me. Chu Tianxiao calmly poured a cup of tea and gently said, Your Highness, you are being overly polite. Lion Q is dead. When someone dies, grievances dissipate. Moreover, I have long known that this is not your Highness's intention. There is no need to mention forgiveness. Lu Tian Yuan, hearing this, looked sincere. Before coming here, I tried to keep in mind the saying part for 3 days. Who knew I still underestimated you? It seems I also need to learn your method of wasting wealth. The way you broke this game was quite brilliant. Chu Tian Xiao maintained a composed demeanor, his gaze sharp. This time your Highness came here, surely it's not just to say these things, right? This place has been set up with soundproof barriers. If your Highness has something to say, please speak directly. Lu Tian Yuan chuckled softly and shook his head. You are indeed not an ordinary person. This time I came with 3 pieces of news to share with you. Lu Tian Yuan continued slowly. First, the situation in the capital is chaotic like a muddy swamp. Although in the short term, Zayi Marcus is not in danger, don't expect your father to be able to offer much help. Second, never underestimate Chu Jin. Over the years, he has crossed the line into battles several times using some spiritual techniques. If nothing changes, he will also participate in the Great Autumn Trial this year, with an unprecedented goal of claiming the top spot for 2 consecutive times. Chu Tian Xiao calmly replied, Your Highness, rest assured, I have made preparations regarding the situation of my father and Chu Jin. Lu Tian Yuan took a sip of wine and continued. As for the last piece of news, there is an issue with the Autumn Night Banquet this time. I advise you not to participate. Hearing this, Chu Tian Xiao frowned slightly. What do you mean, Your Highness? Lu Tian Yuan looked directly into Chu Tian Xiao's eyes, his voice thoughtful. Chu Jin is secretly supporting Qin Yun. He not only bestowed upon Qin Yun the ultimate 9 spirit pill, helping him continually break through several levels, but also invited the old Hanlin to assist drafting strategies for Qin Yun to cope with the literary competition at the Banquet. Furthermore, Chu Jin has sent Chu Huang to support Qin Yun. Chu Tian Xiao, with a tone of disdain. Huh? To use Qin Yun to suppress me at the banquet? Chu Jin has indeed calculated very carefully. Your Highness believes that I have no chance of winning. It's better to withdraw early than to be a target. Lu Tian Yuan, sounding somewhat hesitant, said, Actually, regarding emotions, I hope you will participate, but regarding reason, I think it's better to withdraw. Chu Tian Xiao's gaze was resolute. Of course, I will participate in the Autumn Night Banquet. Lu Tian Yuan was surprised and gave a faint smile. Oh, knowing there are tigers in the mountains, yet still daring to enter the tiger's den, you really have some spirit. Even so, at least give me some confidence. After all, we are both grasshoppers on the same string. He asked further, in martial arts or literature, which one will you choose? Chu Tian Xiao smiled confidently. Choose one? No, I choose them all. Lu Tian Yuan's eyes widened in amazement, unable to believe his ears. I must be hearing things wrong, right? When it comes to martial arts, you are only at the 4th level of foundation stage and have no martial skills. Meanwhile, Qin Yun has already reached at least the 6th level of foundation stage. As for literature, don't tell me that after wasting over 10 years, you still diligently read books. I've heard that even the 5-character classic, at your level of study, you don't know them by heart. Chu Tian Xiao replied calmly, speaking of literature, winning against old Hanlin is actually not difficult. It's just a strategic essay. During the years I spent in private school, I at least recognized enough characters to write. Lu Tian Yuan listened and burst into laughter, nearly spitting out his mouthful of tea. But Chu Tian Xiao calmly continued. As for martial arts, 4th level of foundation stage is that a low level, when necessary, will naturally rise. Without martial techniques, then not striking a single move, one blow will make everyone bow their heads. Lu Tian Yuan was stunned, muttering in disbelief. Is my ear ringing? The mind of a spender like you has a problem. Am I on the wrong side? 2 days later, the Autumn Night Banquet officially took place. People from all over gathered in Tianzhu City, buzzing excitedly about this year's biggest event. One person in the crowd enthusiastically said, This year's Autumn Night Banquet in Tianzhu City must only be second in scale to the feast in the capital. Another nodded in agreement. That's right. Not to mention other factors, just having these 2 princes present is enough to overshadow the Autumn Night Banquets of other cities. The atmosphere was more animated than ever. A young man in the crowd excitedly exclaimed, This time is the early selection for the Great Autumn Trial. I must perform really well. Suddenly, a voice rang out, Look, it's the new head of the Qin family, Qin Yang, who has arrived. Qin Yang appeared in a dignified outfit, full of confidence. He glanced at the crowd and then ordered his subordinates. You all step back, stand aside, and watch how I claim the top position today. The subordinates respectfully replied, Yes, head of the family. Chu Tian Xiao heard this and chuckled softly, curling his lips to mock the new head of the Qin family. Indeed, quite impressive, not lacking at all. He thought to himself, Qin Yan has taken the throne but has yet to make any moves to redeem Qin Jiao Jiao. It seems he doesn't want her back. This time he brought Qin Yun with him, probably due to the pressure from Qin Yun's continuous breakthroughs in several realms. In the distance, Qin Yun squinted, his eyes etched with hatred, softly scoffing. Later at the martial arts competition, wait for Qin Yan, this useless guy, to lose, and then see how I handle you on stage. Qin Yan heard Qin Yun's voice and turned around to say sharply, Qin Yun, what are you dawdling for? Hurry up, you ungrateful dog. Chu Ti and Xiao couldn't help but burst out laughing. Qin Yan, while not particularly talented, was very good at making Qin Yun angry. At that moment, the crowd buzzed again as a sturdy figure appeared. One person exclaimed in astonishment, Chu Huang, why is he here? Another person stood stunned. He didn't attend the autumn night banquet in the capital, but came here instead. A third person worriedly murmured, this is bad. With Chu Huang here, does that mean I won't have a chance to compete for the title of champion anymore? Chu Huang, with a mighty demeanor and dark skin, entered with an imposing presence like a general. Chu Tm Xiao glanced and thought to himself, royal aura. This is clearly a great general closely associated with a chosen one. Chu Jin, are you also a chosen one? How interesting. I wonder if once I arrive in the capital, this cutthroat system will give me a chance to teach you a lesson. Chu Huang walked straight up to Chu Tm Xiao, stood tall, and respectfully said, Second young master, Chu Huang sends his regards on behalf of the eldest young master Chu Jin. Chu Tm Xiao snorted coldly, not bothering to hide the contempt in his eyes. Huh? Are you trying to intimidate me and embarrass me in front of the public? Around him, people began to chatter excitedly. No wonder he is the #1 warrior under Chu Jin, the one who led the Great Autumn Trial. This bloody aura is truly terrifying. At just 18 years old, he has already reached the peak of the realm, the 10th level of Foundation Stage. It's astonishing. Another person chimed in, moreover, back when he followed Chu Jin to exterminate the Blood Pearl sect, he killed 137 cultivators in just one day. He is unmatched in his ruthlessness. Chu Huang looked at Chu Tian Xiao with a mocking gaze. This prodigal son will definitely not withstand the pressure from my bloody aura. Soon, he will certainly be humiliated, becoming a laughingstock. He might even be embarrassed enough to wet his pants in front of everyone. My young master is destined for greatness. He will surely achieve great things. A prodigal son like you dares to stand in his way. If you want to blame someone, blame your own uselessness. Suddenly from behind, Mu Liu Ling drew her sword and shouted loudly, You dare to be disrespectful to the young master. You must get past me first. Chu Tian Xiao raised his hand to stop Mu Liu Ling, smiling gently. Liu Ling stepped back. After all, we are all members of the family. Who doesn't have a few poor and rude relatives? Chu Huang frowned, not clearly understanding Chu Tian Xiao's meaning. What do you mean? Chu Tian Xiao nonchalantly took a crystal card from his pocket, held it up in front of Chu Huang, and smiled. If you want a reward, just ask directly, no need to come so close. Here, take it. It's for you. The crystal card flew and hit Chu Huang's face, leaving him stunned and unable to react. Chu Tian Xiao took out 3 more crystal cards. What's wrong? Not enough. A soft laugh from Chu Tian Xiao echoed. He continued to throw the currency at Chu Huang's face. This time it was 3 more. What about now? Is it enough? Chu Huang's face turned red. His killing intent surged violently. He gritted his teeth and growled. You are asking for death. The people around shuddered in fear at Chu Huang's murderous aura. Whispers spread everywhere. Does this prodigal son really not want to live anymore? That's Chu Huang, a cold-blooded killer. How dare he provoke Chu Huang? The martial arts competition hasn't even started, and he is already publicly humiliated like this. Can Chu Huang endure it? Chu Tian Xiao smirked, his voice full of challenge. Want to die? I don't believe you really dare to kill me. Chu Huang stood still, his sharp gaze locked on Chu Tian Xiao, suppressing the boiling anger within him. At that moment, he recalled Chu Jin's admonition before setting out, Envoy Chu Huang. Chu Jin's voice echoed in his mind. This time you go primarily to support Qin Yun to jointly suppress and humiliate Chu Tian Xiao in front of the 7th prince. Also, act cautiously and do not ruin the plan. Chu Huang's will surged, a desire to eliminate Chu Tian Xiao right on the spot. But he forced himself to hold back and turned to leave. Consider yourself lucky today. I won't stoop to your level. Hearing this, Chu Tian Xiao let out a dismissive laugh. Ha ha! As expected, you don't have the guts to kill the master, so don't pretend to be so bold anymore. Chu Tian Xiao continued to provoke. Just throwing out a few cards to drive people away, how despicable. Chu Huang's face turned blue with anger. filled with rage. "You scoundrel!" Suddenly, a loud shout rang out, attracting the crowd's attention. "Seventh Prince, the little princess has arrived." Lu Tianyuan, the seventh prince, walked in from a distance, smiling leisurely as he observed the lively atmosphere. "I didn't expect the banquet to be this lively before it even started." The little princess burst into a delighted laugh and said, still chuckling, "Haha, that prodigal son is really interesting. I like him." She mischievously turned to Lu Tianyuan and said, "Brother, how about after the banquet, you give him to me to play with for a few days?" Lu Tianyuan gently reminded her, "Shh, Meyer, don't say silly things." Then he majestically took his seat at the head of the table and waved his hand to signal the warriors. "Now that all the talented individuals are present, let's begin. First, we will have a martial arts competition, and after that, a literary contest." A official stepped forward, boldly declaring the rules of the martial duel. Rules of the martial duel. You may choose the order to enter the arena. The loser leaves the stage while the winner continues. Anyone who wins 5 consecutive matches will receive a corresponding special reward. Winning 7 matches in a row qualifies you for training before the tournament. If you win 19 matches consecutively, you can choose your opponent for the 20th match. The winner will be titled Master of the Martial Duel. The official duel begins. Immediately, 2 people rushed up to challenge. 5 tigers break the sword slash. Golden swallow 100-step flash. Chu Tian Xiao watched the crowd cheering and couldn't help but shake his head in disappointment. "Oh, those trivial and careless people in front only know how to shout slogans and act dangerously. They are really not worth watching at all." Mu Lu Ling tried to hold back her laughter and reminded him, "Young master, do you really have to say it so bluntly?" After a moment of silence, Qin Yang proudly announced, "After winning 2 matches, I, Qin Yang, have won 2 matches in a row. Is there anyone else brave enough to come to the stage?" Chu Tian Xiao sighed, showing his boredom. "If no one is strong enough to come up, I might fall asleep." At that moment, a figure stepped out from the crowd, his deep voice resonating. The legitimate heir of the Divine Power sect, Ling Senran. Qin Yang's face suddenly turned pale, his smile vanished. The little princess, curious, asked Lu Tianyuan softly, "Brother, why has Qin Yang suddenly stopped smiling? Looked like a quail." Lu Tianyuan smiled and slowly explained, 2 years ago, Ling Senran fought against Qin Yang. He was utterly defeated, but now he has reached Foundation Stage Level 7, while Qin Yang has only just reached Foundation Stage Level 6. If you were in his place, would you still be able to smile? Chu Tian Xiao's eyes brightened with excitement. Finally, there's something worth watching. Quickly defeat those big-mouthed ones so that Qin Yang can get on stage. Mu Lu Ling gently picked up a piece of dim sum and brought it to Chu Tian Xiao, lightly smiling. "Young master, have a piece of dim sum for enjoyment." Ling Senran bowed respectfully to Qin Yang and said, "Qin brother, it's been a while since we last met. I hope to receive your guidance." Qin Yang replied angrily and arrogantly, "Ling Senran, don't think that just because I lost to you back then, I will lose tonight. Now, I am the temporary head of the Qin family." Before he could finish his introduction, he was sent flying backward by a punch from Ling Senran. Ling Senran coldly looked at Qin Yang with disdain. "The temporary head of the Qin family, is it? If it were Qin Jiao Jiao, perhaps I would still think twice about you tonight. But right now, do you deserve such consideration?" Qin Yang was so furious that his face turned red, and he blurted out, "You really are being overly arrogant." Then he turned to the members of the Qin family and shouted angrily, "All descendants of the Qin family, come up to the stage one by one and defeat Ling Senran in my name." He suddenly stopped as if remembering something, then ordered, "Except for Qin Yun." The members of the Qin family responded in unison, "Yes, temporary head of the family." Zhao Tian Xiao couldn't help but burst into hearty laughter. "Ha ha, Qin Yang is truly impressive." Mu Lu Ling also had to cover her mouth to hide her delight. One by one, the members of the Qin family were defeated by Ling Senran. No one could stand against him. "Your Qin family is now just a group of worthless chickens and dogs. Do you still want to fight me?" In the end, Qin Yun could no longer bear the sight and stood up with great spirit. "The Qin family still has me. I will be your opponent." Chu Tian Xiao pursed his lips, casually nibbling on a melon, and calmly said to Mu Liu Ling, "Here it comes, the classic scene, the dark horse races. All teammates are defeated. Only the chosen one appears like a savior, turning the tide." Mu Liu Ling's eyes glimmered with doubt as she looked towards Qin Yun and Ling Sen ran on the stage. How could Qin Yun possibly defeat Ling Senran, who had already reached the 7th layer of Foundation stage, with just one move? Chu Tian Xiao appeared mysterious. That will become clear soon. For now, what we need to do is to make that Qin Yun stop showing his arrogance in front of me. On the stage, Ling Senran looked down at Qin Yun, sneering. Oh, the Qin family has masters too. Welcome, welcome. At that moment, Qin Yang shouted loudly from below, full of disdain. Qin Yun, you are useless. Hurry up and get down. Aren't you embarrassed enough yet? Others from the Qin family also chimed in, mocking him. That's right. We're all defeated. What are you even doing up there? Qin Yun suppressed his anger. Huff, I am Qin Yun. Immediately, Chu Tian Xiao raised his hand to signal to interrupt. Qin Yun furrowed his brow and looked at him with an angry gaze. It's you again, you prodigal son. What do you intend to do this time? On the platform, Lu Tian Yuan smiled kindly. Chu brother, feel free to speak. Don't hold back. Chu Tian Xiao clasped his hands respectfully and replied, Your Highness, according to the rules of the Autumn Night Banquet, is betting on the outcome allowed? Lu Tian Yuan nodded, his eyes sparkling with interest. Of course this rule exists. So does Chu brother want to make the first bet of the night? Chu Tian Xiao smiled mischievously and replied, No, I would like to request your highness to make the bet. I will set the terms. If I lose, I will bear the consequences. If I win, it belongs to your highness. In his heart, Chu Tian Xiao recalled the system's warning. Gambling is only permitted to lose. If you win, the spend money will be deducted. Lu Tian Yuan shyly chuckled. Although he did not understand Chu Tian Xiao's intentions clearly, he still nodded in agreement. Ha! If Chu brother is so interested, this palace will assist you in making this bet. Chu Tian Xiao bowed in gratitude and turned to Qin Yun, his voice full of arrogance. Then starting from this match, I bet 7 fire clouds that Qin Yun will defeat his opponent in just one move. The entire auditorium buzzed with excitement. Some were astonished. Fire cloud fruit. This is a treasure that fire tech cultivators have long desired. Each one is worth 50,000 spirit coins, and 7 of them amounts to 350,000. Truly a prodigal son. Others laughed mockingly. Does this prodigal son really dare to trust Qin Yun so much? One move to defeat the opponent? No way. If it were him from years ago, there might be a chance, but now? Ha ha. Someone standing nearby chuckled lightly, raising the sword in his hand. Brother Chu has given such a wonderful gift, I gladly accept it. I bet this sword. Others were also excited. I bet a treasured artifact. A few people around joined in one after another, the atmosphere becoming vibrant. Lu Tian Yuan chuckled softly, turning to the little princess. Mayor, now is when the real drama begins. The little princess looked at Chu Tian Xiao and burst into delighted laughter. This prodigal son is really interesting. Qin Yun gritted his teeth in anger, thinking how annoying this prodigal son was. I originally planned to unleash a move that would astonish the entire auditorium, and now he's put me in a difficult position. Qin Yun felt awkward and pondered. If he really exerted his strength, wouldn't it be helping Chu Tian Xiao win the bet with the 7th prince? That would allow him to get closer to your highness. However, if he intentionally conceded, he wouldn't be able to make a strong impression from the very first match. Ling Sen ran bit his lip, sneering, and said loudly for everyone in the hall to hear, Ha ha, this bet is really amusing. You think you can fight me just because you practiced for a few days, you useless tool. He smirked disdainfully and said, Let me tell you, this stage has long ceased to be yours. If you know what's good for you, get lost. I can't be bothered to lift a hand against trash. Unable to contain his anger, Qin Yun shouted, Shut up. Ling Senran laughed mockingly and challenged, Oh, what's wrong? Do you, a useless person, really think you can defeat me with just one move? Chu Tian Xiao smiled quietly to himself, saying, That sounds great. Truly worthy of a villain in the world of destiny. Thanks to these loudmouths. Otherwise, Qin Yun might hesitate a bit longer. Ling Senran raised his hand in a provocative and arrogant manner. Come on, let me teach you how to respect your seniors. Ha ha. Unable to withstand it any longer, Qin Yun charged like a storm and delivered a powerful punch. Ling Senran didn't have time to react and was immediately sent flying, blood gushing from the corner of his mouth, his face pale. Ling Senran couldn't believe the truth. Had you really reached the 8th level of the foundation stage? The people around began to chatter excitedly. One strike, it really was just one strike. This Qin Yun actually concealed his cultivation level. We all failed to see through it. That prodigal son turns out to have such sharp eyes. This is a mistake. Why does this prodigal son have such abilities? A few people approached Chu Tian Xiao to flatter him. No wonder he is the Divine Marcus' second young master. We are left in astonishment while you remain as calm as ever. Chu brother, your foresight is like that of a deity. I admire your abilities. I'll follow your bet. Princess Lu Meyer covered her mouth and laughed again. Ha ha. Brother Huang, that prodigal son is too ridiculous. Clearly, it is Qin Yun who is skilled, but everyone rushes to praise the prodigal son. Lu Tianyuan saw this and smiled interestingly. What a great performance. From a distance, he looked like a master calligrapher. With just one move, Qin Yun went from being the host to a mere pawn. At that moment, Qin Yun was thoroughly enraged, tightly clenching his fists. Just as he was about to explode, a familiar voice rang in his ears. Kid, calm down. This battle is nothing more than using a knife to butcher a cow for chicken blood. Continuing to fight is. Qin Yun was taken aback. Master, what do you mean? All plots and schemes are useless in the face of absolute strength. Use your power to break through it. I understand. Thank you, Master. Qin Yun regained his confidence once again. The next opponent stepped onto the stage. Ju Lai, the direct disciple of Shanzong Island. I would like to learn from you. People began to discuss again. Ju Lai was not only at the 8th level of Foundation stage, but also excelled in earth manipulation, along with an extremely tricky ambush technique. This battle would likely be difficult for Qin Yun. Chu Tianxiao raised a finger and announced loudly, continue. It's still a limiting move. This time, I bet 10 Fenghu fruits. He privately thought, trash fish, this is what you look like. If you're not at the 10th level of Foundation stage or higher, don't come and embarrass yourselves. The people around were astonished and doubtful. Even if Qin Yun is lucky enough to win this match, he can't possibly win with just one move. I bet on Ju Lai. On the arena, Ju Lai laughed sinisterly. Qin brother, your single-handed move just now was not bad. Unfortunately, I, Ju Lai, am not like that waste Ling Senran. Be careful, I will attack you from behind later. Qin Yun smiled faintly. Stop talking nonsense. Wait until you can touch the hem of my clothes before you speak. Ju Lai immediately used the earth movement technique, but before he could even burrow down, Qin Yun's figure flashed, kicking him away. The crowd was dumbfounded. He actually guessed correctly again. Once could be a coincidence, but twice to guess right is. Chu Tianxiao took out a crystal card and smiled. Well played. Here's an additional 5,000. You all have already conceded. Qin Yun frowned slightly. Is there anyone else? After that, the match continued. Qin Yun continuously defeated the prodigies, and each match was won with just a single punch. The referee raised his hand high to announce, Qin Yun has won 7 matches in a row, qualifying for training before the Great Autumn Trial, along with a reward of opportunity. Everyone was astonished and sweating. The prodigal son has bet on 7 matches in a row, and he won them all. Qin Yun truly deserves to be a top talent. Once his strength is restored, no one can stop him. If this keeps up, tonight's martial arts banquet will be all about Qin Yun. Qin Yun glanced at Chu Tianxiao and scoffed. In the face of absolute power, schemes are worth nothing. You must be exhausted now, prodigal son. Facing his mockery, Chu Tianxiao remained silent. New Liu Ling inquired with suspicion. Aren't you going to continue betting, young master? Chu Tianxiao shook his head. Forget it. Fate cannot be resisted. Winning 7 matches in a row is already the limit. Continuing would be useless. But that doesn't matter. Everything is according to my plan. Lu Weier's expression changed slightly as he said, Brother Huang, Qin Yun is indeed formidable. I previously found him displeasing, but now... Lu Tianyuan thought to himself, Prodigal son, I hope you still have hidden skills. Otherwise, tonight you might be in danger. After that, the battle continued. Qin Yun won 18 consecutive matches. Everyone around sighed in admiration. Qin Yun not only challenges those above his level multiple times, but also wins with just one move. He truly is an extraordinary talent. The group of women were all infatuated. Ha ha, Qin Yun, I want to bear your child. With everyone cheering him on, Qin Yun laughed heartily. Ha ha, it has been a long time since I've felt this way. This is my true destiny, this is my stage, and this is the treatment I deserve. At this moment, Chu Huang stood up. I, Chu Huang, demand a challenge. Everyone around was astonished. There's going to be a good show to watch. Chu Huang is at Foundation Stage Level 10. He will surely be able to suppress this guy's fierce momentum. That's right, he's too arrogant. It's just a martial contest. Does he need to disrupt everyone else's future in every match? Chu Huang, kill this guy. With such a huge difference in realm, will my husband Qin Yun run into problems? Chu Huang stepped in front of Qin Yun, his fists clenched tightly. He said, I can't deny that you have exceeded the young master's expectations. Not bad. Even if I want to defeat you, it's not easy. However, rest assured, I will honor the agreement and accept my defeat at your hands. I hope you will do the same. Qin Yun smirked faintly. Stop wasting words. Bring it on, Chu Huang. Before he finished speaking, Qin Yun struck a punch to Chu Huang's abdomen. Chu Huang's eyes widened, sweat pouring out. He felt his insides aching as if they were about to burst. Everyone around was stunned. One strike to defeat Chu Huang. Is this even human? This is Chu Huang, who specializes in body training with unparalleled physical strength. How is this possible? The power of Qin Yun's previous strike is definitely not just at Foundation Stage level 8. Haha, my husband is so impressive. On the arena, Qin Yun triumphantly mocked Chu Huang. Are you regretting your defeat to me? Haha, let me tell you, I, Qin Yun, am the true son of destiny. What qualification do you have to concede to me? Do you think that just because your young master helps me, I will be grateful for his great virtue? Haha, ridiculous. I, Qin Yun, am about to ascend to greatness. Once I deal with that prodigal son, my next target will be Chu Jin. Chu Huang thought to himself, this person absolutely cannot be allowed to remain. I must report to the young master as soon as possible. Qin Yun continued, according to the rules of the Autumn Night Banquet, after winning 19 consecutive matches, I have the right to choose my opponent for the final match. And the opponent I choose for this final match is you, Chu Tianxiao. People around began to whisper, Chu Huang has already been defeated. The prodigal son will probably surrender right away. This time, the prodigal son is likely to face severe difficulties. Lu Tianyun anxiously stood up, but Chu Tianxiao remained calm. Your Highness, do not worry, I have my own plans. Lu Tianyun wanted to say something, but held back. Mu Lu Ling stood up and said, Young master, let me take your place in battle. Chu Tianxiao poured a glass of wine and said, Liu Ling, the wine in my hand is called Yanhua. When it is submerged, its fragrance disperses and retains its temperature. But if poured out, it will cool immediately. You also know that I do not like to drink cold beverages, so he handed the wine glass to Mu Liu Ling. Take good care of it. Young master will be back in a little while. The people around looked at each other in confusion. What does this prodigal son mean? Does he want to settle the battle before Yanhua cools down? How is that possible? Even if his eyesight isn't bad, he is only at the 4th level of Foundation Stage. That's right, but Qin Yun just now defeated Chu Huang at the 10th level of Foundation Stage with one move. Could it be that his mind has been scared out of him by Qin Yun? Qin Yun had a fierce look in his eyes, his expression excited as he looked at Chu Tianxiao. Ever since you brought that bitch to the door to break off our engagement, every hour and every minute I have wanted to chop you into 1,000 pieces. Today I finally have the chance. Although the Autumn Night Banquet does not allow killing, I can make you wish you were dead. Haha, you humiliate me like this. Did you ever think there would be a day like this? Just as he was about to make a move, Chu Tianxiao raised his hand and said, Wait a moment. Qin Yun furrowed his brows. Chu Tianxiao still wore a calm smile on his face. Tonight, since you're here, you must follow the rules of the Autumn Night Banquet. Qin Yun responded, I'm not saying I won't follow the rules. It's just that, before we begin, there are a few things that need to be made clear. The rules of the Autumn Night Banquet state that if a challenger loses, aside from being removed from the training roster, all other opportunities will be confiscated. Is that correct? Chu Tianxiao sneered. Yes, that rule is in place, but you don't seriously think you can win this battle, do you? Chu Tianxiao continued. Whether I win or lose, we'll know after the fight, won't we?